This is Ryan's Vinyl of the Week, reviewing the newly released just today Bob Dylan's Bootleg Series 17, Fragments. His Time Out of Mind sessions, 1996 to 1997, to celebrate the 25-year anniversary of the classic September 30th, 1997 released Time Out of Mind, a reboot of Bob Dylan's career produced by legendary Canadian record producer Daniel Lanois. Let's check it out. Here we are, live unboxing. Just got here, Bob Dylan Fragment. I got the 4 LP version. There's a 5 CD version and a 10 LP version. But even shipping to Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, which is very close to the United States, it was $230 American dollars for the 10 LP and $230 shipping from bobdylan.com. Amazon did not have it. Amazon was free shipping, so I saw some other people posting shipping to Australia was about $280 American dollars. But here it is, the 4 LP newest bootleg. What do we got? We got LPs 1 and 2 are a remastered version of Time Out of Mind from basically aka Jack Frost when he produces himself. Then LPs 3 and 4 are alternate takes and outtakes. Red River Shore, Dirt Road Blues, Trying to Get to Heaven, Make You Feel My Love. Of course, we got Mississippi. I think on the CD there's 5 versions of that. Stand in the Doorway, Not Dark, Cold Iron Bounds Again, and Highlands. These are live. So the first LP, so LP 3 is outtakes, and LP 4 is live. So let's open this up. Oh yeah, that new record feel. I think there's a book in here too. Let's see. Oh, I don't really like this front cover, to be honest. It's there's lots of other better. Even that's better. So what do we got here? We got Fragments, Time Out of Mind remix, which I'll be honest, as a Canadian and as a huge Dan Lanois fan, a Time Out of Mind fan, it almost seems like a waste to remix an album that's just so near and dear to my heart. But here we go. And then we have the outtakes and alternate. So the first CD is outtakes. Now, I'll be honest, I've listened to this already since we opened it because I got excited. And I think the best outtakes were already covered in Bootleg Series 8. Tell a Tales. And then we have this beautiful book. This is awesome. There's probably essays and liner notes and pictures. It's great. Yeah. Now, I just want to preface that as a Canadian who currently lives in the home city of the brilliant Dan Lanois, I'm a little biased. I've been a fan of Dan Lanois forever. I know people that have worked for him. I know he grew up here. Some of the best albums of all time have been produced by Dan Lanois. We got Peter Gabriel's 1986 amazing album, So. It's one of the best albums of all time. Harry Styles said it was one of the best sounding albums you've ever heard, especially Sledgehammer. I still have the receipt from the first record I ever bought. This is Robbie Robertson's amazing self-titled debut from 1987. Somewhere Down the Crazy River, Showdown at Big Sky, Broken Arrow covered by Rod Stewart. So this is Dan Lanois record as well. He did 2010's Lanois with Neil Young. And for the Bob Dylan reference, this is his second collaboration with Bob Dylan, the first being in 1989. One of my favorites, and I think a very underrated album in his discography is Oh Mercy, 1989, recorded in New Orleans, and had some great stuff on there too. Now, going through these records, I first listened to the first 2 LPs, which is the remastered version of Time Out of Mind, and I guess remix. And I'm very conflicted on how I want to proceed here because I need to say that I'm a little biased towards the original album, and a lot of you who listen to this new one and have a crazy opinion, I think the problem is that we've had, 25 years to let Time Out of Mind settle, and we have preferences. So I will be honest. It's amazing to have anything new Bob Dylan. I'm a huge Dylan fan. But aside from Cold Iron Bounds, Till I Fell in Love with You, which has kind of like a reggae beat, which is great, and an amazing, amazing, amazing 16, almost 17-minute version of Highlands, which is the closing track, which is all of side B of disc 2. That stands out. However, what I am missing, I'm missing that ambiance, that haunting echo of the Lanois. I like the original Lovesick. Standing in the Doorway, the original was haunting. This one, all of these tracks really emphasize Dylan's voice much more. I'll give it that, but and Not Dark Yet. You gotta go with the original. There's just something emotional and haunting about a man who, I don't know if you knew the story, but Dylan, when he was 56, he had a very bad, I think it was a fungal or viral infection, but he thought he was going to die. He was quite sick, and this album was recorded sort of in reference to that. I've read some reviews where people said this is the most Jewish sounding album of Bob Dylan's career or something, and I don't know what that means. It's just, I guess it compared to his Christian albums, but anyways, that's the first two LPs. Then we move to discs 3 and 4. Now I will say, I might have said it already in the video, so I can cut this out, but I did not get the 10 LP version from BobDylan.com because as a Canadian who only lives 45 minutes from the border, I could not justify paying $230 American dollars plus $200 American dollars shipping. I saw some estimates for Australian fans that it would cost like almost $300 American to ship, whereas I bought all this off Amazon. I got the whole set for like $140 Canadian, which is like $110 US, free shipping. So, times are tough. People are eating cabbage. I can't spend $500 on a Bob Dylan bootleg, but I can spend $140. So discs 3 and 4 are mostly outtakes on disc 3, and then live versions on the CD and the 10 LP. There's like 5 versions of Mississippi. This version of Mississippi on the outtakes and Make You Feel My Love, whatever. Mississippi had been released. There was 2 or 3 versions on Bob Dylan's 2008 bootleg Telltale Signs. I don't have that one. I want that one. They haven't reissued it. I wasn't a Bob Dylan fan back then. But the thing that really stands out for me, actually it's not on this record, but I did hear it on Spotify, was Dreamin' of You. That's the one thing I'm going to definitively say. Dreamin' of You, produced by Dan Lanois on the 2008 Bootleg Series, is so much better than this stripped down version. A lot of the stuff almost came out as reggae. The Water is Wide is an amazing song that should have been included. Red River Shore version 1, it was pretty good. It had a more Bob Dylan basement tapes kind of feel, 1967. Make You Feel My Love kind of sounds the same, and Standing in the Doorway was beautiful, but I don't know. And Cold Iron Bounds, I wanted to note that it's got a really cool, funky vibe, but I still prefer the Time Out of Mind series. So I will say this. As a whole, if you had bought the 10 LP version and got 5 versions of Mississippi, I don't know if I would do that, even as a fan. I don't know, as a entire bootleg series, what this actually brings to the table, because I'll tell you right now. Gun to my head, if someone told me right now, what am I going to pick? I'm going with 1997's Time Out of Mind, noting that Highlands for sure is better. Dirt Road Blues, Million Miles, they could have been taken off Bob Dylan's original sound, and I know in Chronicles Volume 1 he talks in depth about this, but there's just something amazing about Time Out of Mind. Lovesick, Not Dark Yet, and Can't Wait, you know, and Standing in the Doorway for sure. I find that's better. So as a complete bootleg series, it's very interesting, but it does not bring a lot to the table. I'm going to say something controversial. The best takes of the songs, especially if you only got the 4 LP or just the CD pack, is those best versions, those groundbreaking versions. They were released on Telltale Signs in 2008. So this bootleg doesn't bring anything new to the table. I personally thought that last year's bootleg, covering 1980 to 1985, including Emperor Burlesque, this brought newer takes to the table. It had brought some outtakes like Someone's Got a Hold of My Heart, which turned into Tight Connection to Your Heart. You know, an amazing take on Dark Eyes. This had a lot of songs that weren't released. In line with that, I mean, I can't even compare this bootleg series to probably the OG, the original, for volumes 1 through 3. This is what got me into Bob Dylan. I couldn't believe that someone's garbage would have been any man's treasure. So this was the original 1 to 3, and then this one also blew me away. You know, 3 LPs, and there's a bigger pack, but 3 LPs of just original, groundbreaking Americana unreleased music. Time Out of Mind is an amazing album, and it still is. And Fragments builds on that. But unless you're a Bob Dylan fan, I really don't think you need this. And that pains me to say. I think it's amazing. I think this brings a lot to the table. But what do I want to see for the next bootleg series? I'd love to see one of my favorite albums revisited with demos and outtakes, Street Legal. Maybe now that needs a remastering. That was produced terribly. That doesn't sound good. And who produced that? I think it was Dylan. And if it wasn't, some of Dylan's self-produced albums aren't known for how good they sound. So, having said that, it's an amazing bootleg series. I'll give it 8.5 out of 10. But I still give Time Out of Mind like a 9.5 out of 10. This is Ryan's extended cut of Vinyl of the Week.